People with weaker legs have up to 65% higher risk of dying earlier than expected. This is not an opinion. It is the result of a study published in the Journals of Gerontology, which followed more than 2,000 older adults between 70 and 79 years of age, directly measuring quadriceps strength. The risk remained high even after adjusting for body weight and physical activity level. When this information reaches people, two common solutions come to mind right away: walking and doing some squats. Walking does help the heart, but it is not enough to wake up muscles that have been dormant for years. And squatting, for those who have never trained before, becomes a risk. Misaligned knees, an overloaded spine, one more injury. That is why today you will see an isometric exercise, safe with no impact, to boost leg strength in just a few weeks. Stay tuned until the end, because we will give you as a bonus several other isometric exercises that strengthen not only the quadriceps, but all the muscle groups in your legs. And I never see anyone talking about this. Before we begin, please leave a comment with your name and the city you are watching from. We would love to know. Exercise number 1, Isometric Superman. If there is one exercise capable of waking up your entire posterior chain at once, this is it. The Isometric Superman simultaneously strengthens the spinal erectors, the gluteus maximus, and the hamstrings, three muscle groups that literally support your upright posture and your ability to walk without lower back pain. Regular practitioners are able to notice within a few weeks less lower back discomfort after sitting or standing for long periods, precisely because this musculature begins to hold the spine better throughout the entire day. And best of all, this is achieved without a single impact on the knee or the hip. To perform it correctly, lie face down on the floor with your arms extended in front of your head and your legs extended behind your body. Contract your glutes and lower back at the same time and lift your arms, chest, and legs a few inches off the floor, as if you were flying. Keep your neck in a neutral position, looking at the floor in front of you, and hold that elevation for the designated time before coming down with control, without letting your body drop all at once. An extra tip that makes a big difference is to imagine you are being pulled simultaneously by your hands and your feet in opposite directions. This sensation of active lengthening increases muscle recruitment and prevents the exercise from becoming just a swing without real contraction. You will know you are doing it correctly when you feel a slight tremor at the level of your lower back and glutes, a sign that the musculature is truly working. A common mistake is throwing the head back in an attempt to rise higher. This overloads the cervical spine without providing any extra benefit. Another frequent mistake is holding your breath during the hold, which unnecessarily raises blood pressure. Breathe in a controlled manner without stopping the flow of air, inhaling and exhaling gently while holding the position. If you find that lifting your arms and legs at the same time is still too challenging, a simple alternative is to lift only your legs first, keeping your arms resting on the floor, and only later add the arm lift as your strength increases. Start by holding the position for 15 to 20 seconds in 2 to 3 sets, and progress by increasing the hold time to 30 to 40 seconds as the musculature responds. People with lumbar disc herniation in the acute phase, severe uncontrolled blood pressure issues, or recent shoulder injuries should avoid this exercise or perform it only with professional clearance. Exercise number 2, Isometric Heel Raise. The calf is often called the body's second heart because it helps pump blood back up to the heart against the force of gravity, especially in the legs. Strengthening this region is not just a matter of aesthetics, it is a matter of circulation and, especially after the age of 60, of balance and fall prevention, since the calf plays a direct role in stabilizing the ankle with every step you take throughout the day. I have observed that practitioners who begin training the calf consistently report feeling more stability when walking on uneven terrain within a few weeks, reinforcing that this is one of the most strategic regions for preventing falls after the age of 60. Stand with your feet flat on the floor at hip width apart. Raise your heels as high as you can, rising onto the balls of your feet, and hold that position without repeatedly going up and down. If you want to increase the range of motion, place the balls of your feet on the edge of a step, letting your heels drop slightly below the level of the step before rising and holding at the top of the movement. What many people do not know is that varying the position of your feet, parallel, then turned out, then turned in, changes which portion of the calf receives more stimulus. Since this is a muscle with a predominance of slow twitch fibers, it responds better to longer holds than to short explosive sets. So take your time holding the position. A common mistake is shifting all of your body weight backward, pushing the hips behind the line of the ankles, which takes the tension off the calf and overloads the lower back. Keep your body aligned as if a straight line ran from your ear to your ankle from the beginning to the end of the hold. An interesting alternative after mastering the 2-foot version is to try holding the position supported on one leg at a time, which considerably increases the demand without requiring any extra weight. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds per set in 3 sets, lightly supporting yourself against a wall or chair if you need more balance. People with recent Achilles tendon injuries or acute ankle pain should reduce the range of motion or temporarily avoid this exercise until fully recovered. Exercise number 3, horse stance. Coming from traditional martial arts, the horse stance is one of the oldest ways to train isometric leg strength without any equipment. It intensely recruits the quadriceps, the glutes, and the adductors at the same time, while also demanding a great deal from the core to keep the spine stable throughout the entire hold. It is no coincidence that it has survived centuries as a training foundation across many cultures. Regular practitioners report feeling more firmness when climbing stairs and when rising from low positions, precisely because this stance trains the body to support weight at angles that daily life normally demands suddenly and without warning. To perform it, place your feet wider than shoulder width apart, with your toes turned slightly outward. Lower your hips as if you were going to sit in a low chair, keeping your torso upright and your weight distributed evenly between both feet. Your knees should follow the same direction as your toes, without collapsing inward at any point during the hold. An extra tip is to hold your hands in front of your chest, as if you were holding an invisible ball. This helps maintain spinal posture and gives you a reference point to notice if your torso is leaning forward during the hold. I will admit that the first time I tried to hold this position for more than 30 seconds, my thighs complained far more than I expected. A common mistake is going too deep on the first attempt, forcing a range of motion that the knee cannot yet tolerate. Start with a moderate descent and gradually go deeper as you feel more confidence and strength in the position. Another mistake is letting the torso fall forward, which removes part of the work from the legs and overloads the lower back. If the traditional version is still too demanding, an alternative is to reduce the depth of the descent, keeping the hips higher and gradually increase the range of motion over weeks of practice. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds in 2 to 3 sets, progressing the time before progressing the depth. People with advanced knee osteoarthritis or acute hip pain should reduce the range of motion, performing a higher version of the stance. Exercise number 4, wall sit. This is perhaps the best known isometric exercise for the quadriceps, and for good reason. It allows you to train this musculature with real intensity, but without the repetitive impact of going up and down in a traditional squat, which greatly reduces the stress on the knee with every repetition, something especially important for those who already experience joint discomfort in daily life. Lean your back against a wall and slide down until your knees form an angle of approximately 90 degrees with your thighs parallel to the floor. Your feet should be far enough from the wall so that your knees do not go past the line of your toes. Hold this position for the designated time, keeping your lower back pressed against the wall the entire time. A study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology showed that isometric quadriceps holds at angles close to 90 degrees generate muscle activation comparable to that of dynamic exercises with moderate load, without the same impact on the knee joint. The beauty of this exercise lies in its ability to be easily adjusted for any level. If 90 degrees is too demanding at first, position your body a little higher on the wall, allowing the knee angle to be more open, and gradually lower it over the weeks, always respecting the limit of the day. A common mistake is letting the knees go past the line of the feet, which increases pressure on the joint unnecessarily. Another mistake is completely holding your breath, thinking it helps you hold the position, when in reality it only increases fatigue and blood pressure during the hold. As an alternative to vary the stimulus, try holding a small ball between your knees during the wall sit, adding a light adductor challenge to the main exercise. Start by holding for 15 to 20 seconds in 2 to 3 sets and progress up to 40 to 60 seconds. People with acute patellar pain, a recent knee replacement still in rehabilitation, or uncontrolled high blood pressure should avoid this exercise or adapt the angle with professional guidance. Exercise number 5, isometric glute bridge. The gluteus maximus is the largest muscle in the human body, and most people have never heard that before. It does not exist solely for aesthetics. It stabilizes the pelvis, protects the lower back, and is one of the main muscles responsible for your ability to climb stairs, rise from a chair, and walk with stability as the years go by. Neglecting this muscle opens the door to lower back pain that many people mistakenly attribute solely to the spine. Keeping the largest muscle in the human body well activated also promotes higher caloric expenditure throughout the day, since larger muscles require more energy to recover after training. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor close to your hips. Lift your hips toward the ceiling until you form a straight line between your shoulders, your hips, and your knees, firmly contracting your glutes at the top of the movement. Hold that contraction for the designated time before lowering with control, without letting your hips drop sharply to the floor. A valuable extra tip is to squeeze your glutes as hard as possible at the top, as if you were holding a coin between them. This significantly increases muscle recruitment compared to simply lifting your hips without that conscious contraction. This exercise also intensely works the hamstrings, which act together with the glutes in hip extension. A common mistake is lifting the hips too high, hyperextending the lower back instead of continuing the movement through the glutes. Another mistake is placing too much weight on the heels in an exaggerated way, which removes part of the tension from the hamstrings that also participate in this movement with you. A natural progression, after mastering the basic version, is to lift only one leg at a time while keeping the other bent in the air, which requires much more stabilization from each side independently. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds in 3 sets, increasing the time before advancing to the unilateral variation. People with recent acute lower back injuries or intense hip pain should reduce the range of elevation until they feel more comfortable. Exercise number 6, deep squat hold. Unlike the traditional squat, the deep squat hold is not about going up and down. It is about going all the way down and simply staying there, letting the body get accustomed to this deep position that, culturally, many populations around the world use, even for resting and eating while seated on the ground, without any joint discomfort. It is practically a mobility test disguised as an exercise, and the longer you can hold this position comfortably, the better your freedom of movement tends to be throughout the rest of your body. To perform it, place your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart and lower yourself into a deep squat, bringing your hips below the line of your knees while keeping your heels fully flat on the floor. Your arms can rest in front of your body, between your legs, as a support for balance. Hold this relaxed position for the designated time, breathing calmly. I have observed that this is one of the exercises that surprises people the most when they first try it, because the initial difficulty is not in the strength, it is in the ankle and hip mobility. With regular practice, the range of motion tends to improve consistently, and the position that once seemed impossible begins to feel comfortable. A common mistake is letting the heels rise off the floor to compensate for lack of mobility. If that happens, rest your heels on a folded towel or a small wedge until the ankle naturally gains more range of motion over the weeks. A useful alternative for those who have difficulty with balance is to perform the hold while holding onto a sturdy piece of furniture or a door frame, removing part of the balance challenge so you can focus first on the range of motion. Hold for 20 to 40 seconds in 2 to 3 sets, supporting yourself on a sturdy piece of furniture or a wall if you need help with balance. People with severe knee osteoarthritis, a recent hip replacement, or frequent dizziness should avoid this position without supervision. Before we continue, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Having constant access to science-based information is what will help you progress with long-term health in the world of exercise. Exercise number 7, pillow squeeze. This is one of the most underestimated exercises when it comes to leg strength because most people focus only on the front and back of the thigh and completely forget about the inner portion. The adductors actively participate in stabilizing the knee and hip during walking, and neglecting them can leave the joint more vulnerable to imbalances over the years. When this inner musculature is weak, the knee tends to compensate by drifting inward with each step, which increases joint wear over time. Sit in a chair or lie on your back with your knees bent. Place a pillow or any firm cushion between your knees and squeeze with force as if you were trying to compress the object. Hold that contraction for the designated time, feeling the work concentrated on the inner portion of your thighs. An extra tip is to lightly place your hands on your knees during the squeeze, pushing inward while your knees push outward against the pillow. This additional resistance increases muscle recruitment without requiring any extra equipment beyond what you are already using. A common mistake is performing the squeeze very quickly, almost like a jerk, instead of a sustained and controlled contraction. Another mistake is relaxing completely between holds, losing the accumulated benefit of the constant tension that this exercise provides. As a simple progression, replace the pillow with a Pilates ball or another firmer object once you feel that the contraction has become too easy to hold for the proposed time. Hold for 15 to 20 seconds in 3 sets, progressing the hold time before switching to a firmer object. This exercise is, in most cases, safe even for people with knee limitations, but those with acute groin pain or a recent adductor injury should reduce the intensity of the squeeze. Exercise number 8, single leg balance. If there is one ability that tends to decline silently with age without the person noticing until a fall happens, it is balance. And the good news is that it can be trained like any other physical capacity through proprioception, which is the body's awareness of itself in space, and through strengthening the stabilizers of the ankle, knee, and hip. Population studies associate the inability to balance on one leg for 10 seconds with a higher risk of adverse health events in middle-aged and older adults, which shows that this small test says a great deal about your body. Stand on one leg, with the other slightly bent and lifted off the floor. Keep your core lightly engaged and your gaze fixed on a point in front of you, holding the position for the designated time before switching legs and repeating on the other side. I will admit that when I first started including this type of exercise in my own routine, I thought it would be too easy to be worth the effort. I was surprised to notice how much my left leg wobbled after just a few seconds, and that alone shows how this capacity can be weaker than we imagine, even in those who already train other things. A powerful extra tip is to gently close your eyes after mastering the eyes open version. This removes an important visual reference and demands much more from the internal stabilizers, greatly increasing the challenge without requiring any additional equipment. A common mistake is locking the knee of the supporting leg, which actually reduces the activation of the stabilizers. Keep a slight bend in the knee as if you were ready to react to any unexpected shift in the body. As a more challenging alternative after mastering the stationary balance, try gently raising your arms upward or out to the sides, which shifts your center of gravity and increases the demand on the stabilizers. Start by holding for 15 to 20 seconds per leg in 3 sets, lightly resting one hand on a wall or chair whenever you need to. Progress by reducing the support until you can stand completely free, and only after that try closing your eyes. People with frequent dizziness, an active labyrinthitis episode, or a recent history of falls should practice this exercise only with someone nearby or while holding a fixed support at all times. If you enjoyed this and want to see the 10 popular exercises that most damage your knees and spine for those who are already past 40, we have a video appearing on the screen right now showing each one of them. Make sure to check it out. Thank you for watching all the way through, and may God bless you, my friend.